about this love, about this, about this love, about this love.
How you guys doing today? You are tuning into About This Love soundbite with myself, Dale Skinner, coming all the way at you from Baltimore. And if you don't already, can you please follow us on social media? At Facebook, it's About This Love. On IG, it's About This Love, all together, one word, all lowercase. And also feel free to follow us on our business pages as well. Our Facebook is Multidimensional Media Domain, LLC. Our IG is MDMD LLC. And our Twitter is MDMD_LLC. Thank you again for tuning in to About This Love. Again, my name is Dale Skinner. And the topic for today is living out your decisions. And what kind of made me want to do this topic for today was I was having a conversation with my wife. We normally get together once a week and just talk about, what's going on in life and whatever we have on our hearts. And today, as we begin to talk and just share our hearts, one of the things that we talked about a lot was just the decisions that, we have made over the course of our lives and just how they have affected us and just the outcome of those decisions, whether it was good and or bad at the time. So today, I'm coming at you with just 3 questions on the topic. Again, the topic is living out your decisions. And the first question is, do you know and understand the outcome of your decision? The second one is, are you okay with living out the consequences of your decision? And the third one is, how can I begin to make better decisions? And this is all questions because oftentimes I feel like in life we make decisions, especially when we're young, we make haphazard decisions without really thinking about the outcome of our decisions. Because of course, when you're young, you're under the impression that you have all the time in the world, and you usually do, depending on the severity or of your decisions. So. But the first question I have, do you understand that? Do you know and understand the outcome of your decision? And I just share from my own life, like I always do. I was thinking back, for myself when I was younger, a teenager. I was really involved in a lot of just crazy stuff. Had friends that, had me doing things I probably shouldn't have been doing. And, in fact, if I would have got caught, I probably could have had, a few felonies by now, would have had some felonies by now. Of course, most of the people that I used to hang around, I think with probably the exception of like 1 or 2, all of them have felonies, unfortunately, have a few, so I just thinking back on when I was young, a lot of the decisions that I made probably wasn't the brightest, probably wasn't the smartest. And, again, when you're young, you don't really think about it. You just do whatever you feel like doing at the time. You're probably controlled by your emotions and, whatever comes, it comes. You kind of think about it after the fact. Most of the time, once it's too late. If you're lucky, not, I hope that's not the case. That wasn't the case for me, but I was thinking back to, one time got into an incident. I won't share the details of it, but basically, police ended up coming out. I was actually in the vicinity when something had happened. But the one thing that saved us was I had a receipt from Burger King. We had went to Burger King before we did whatever, and the receipt actually saved us. I said, "No, officer, I actually have a receipt, in my pocket. I was at Burger King around this time, and that actually is what saved me because I lied about the time, and I guess whoever made the report must have also got the time wrong as well. But when I think back on it now, I was like, man, I really could have cost myself, years behind bars, really could have cost myself a long time behind bars, And after that incident happened, one of the things that I really decided was I said, man, I really got to get out of this environment. I really got to get out of, where I'm from and go somewhere, do something with my life, because at that point in my life, I was 18, 19 years old. I don't think I had really decided to do something with my life. I mean, I was working 2-3 jobs, and just saving up money to buy things I wanted, but I don't think I really had made a career move or a decision on a career. So at that point, I had just decided to I knew something had to change, So I actually ended up hearing about a program called Job Corps. I actually ended up going there for about a year and a half. I did 2 different programs, and landed a job with the railroad, and the rest is history, you know. But I think back on my life about how the bad decision that I made that actually didn't ended out good for me, because it forced me to ask myself, man, what am I doing with my life? You know, and say to myself, in all honesty, you know, if I stay here, I'm probably gonna end up, you know, in jail, in prison, or dead, you know. So I just think about how that bad decision, which I was young, it was pretty thoughtless, it caused me to actually think and reflect, man, you know. So I ended up going to Job Corps and ended up landing a job with the railroad, and now I'm 10 years in with the railroad, you know. So that's just, I was just thinking about that, you know. Do we understand the outcome of our decisions when we choose to make decisions? Do we actually understand the totality of our decisions? You know, I was thinking about how people that I know personally, you know, family and friends and coworkers, you know, just who have I probably say 3+ children. I know people who have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 children, you know, and oftentimes I think to myself, you know, I wonder when they were, I wonder in the moment of them having a moment of pleasure, did they ever think that it would lead to them having kids? And, you know, and now, you know, a lot of people, you know, when you have that many children and you don't have a plan or a decent job, unfortunately, it causes you to struggle and have financial, you know, hardship. You know, it's not true for everybody, you know, but for the majority, it does. It causes you to have financial hardship, especially, you know, if you're out of high school, or if you're just going to college, or if you're fresh out of college, just starting your career. You know, having a kid could be a major setback. You know, for your average American, your average, you know, person, whether you're white, black, Latino, a lot of us are starting on ground zero. You know, because a lot of us, our parents probably work hard to get what they have, and probably didn't have much to give us. If we're lucky, they might have been able to give us education, put us through college, if we're lucky, you know. But if not, then you're starting on ground zero. And to have a kid, you know, at an early age and not really be you know, deep in your career, or deep in a career, it could send you back 10, 15 steps back, you know. So instead of starting on zero, now you're starting at -15. You know, so I just think about things like that. I just think about oftentimes, you know, when people are just in the moment of passion, do they think about, man, what happens if I get this girl pregnant, or what happens if this guy gets me pregnant? Like, is that even a thought in their mind? You know, just like, you know, when I was a kid, I was doing criminal activity. You know, never thought in my mind, you know, what happened if I got caught? Never crossed my mind. You know, until it almost happened. And it forced me to kind of reevaluate my life, you know. And again, I'm glad it happened. I think it was the Lord that it in fact did happen, you know. But you know, I don't want to spend too much time on the first question. On to the next question. Are you okay with living with the consequences of your decision? You know, and again, I know I have a friend of mine's when he was young. He actually shot someone. You know, he ended up spending I think it was like 12, 13 years behind bars. Of course, he's doing good now, and he has a career and everything. But oftentimes when I talk to him, one of the things that he says is, you know, if I could go back, I never would have did that. If I could go back, I never would have did that. And he oftentimes, you know, he would tell me, man, prison is not a place that you want to be. Prison is not a place that you know that you want to go. You know, I don't care how glamorous they make it seem on TV. It's not glamorous. You know, you don't want to go there. There's no love there. You know, so I guess just asking yourself, if you decide to do something, can you live with the consequences? Are you okay with that? You know, if you're involved in criminal activity, are you okay with the consequences? If they give you fed time, 10, 20 years, are you okay with that? You know, if you're out here having unprotected sex, are you okay with having a kid? Or 2, or 3, or 4, or 5, or 6, or 7, or 8, or 9? You know, are you okay with that? Are you okay with getting a disease if you're out there having unprotected sex? Are you okay with that? You know, are you okay with the consequences? I think a few weeks ago, me and my wife was actually having a conversation. I think it was either an article or something we had either seen on Facebook or an article that we had read, but it was talking about how people were going to, I guess, just to have a moment of passion, Netflix and chill at people's houses, and in some cases they were getting raped or killed, and again, you meet a woman or guy online, y'all exchange a few messages, y'all talk on the phone, a few times, about a week or two, you go over there and chill, you don't ever suspect that you would get raped or either be killed. Again, can you live with that decision? And do you ask yourself when you go to do whatever it is you're doing, whether it's crime, a moment of passion, cheating the clock at work, can you live with the consequences? If your job finds out and they fire you, can you live with the consequences? If you go to somebody's house for a moment of passion, Netflix and chill, and they rape you or they kill you, can you live with the consequences? Well, I mean, I guess you can't at that point because you're dead, But again, it's just questions that I've been asking myself, as I've gotten older. And again, the purpose of this podcast is just to encourage people. We're not trying to bash anybody or put anyone down. I feel like life does that enough. So a lot of the questions and topics that I bring on the podcast is to provoke people to be think about these topics. Think about it. Do you think about the decisions you make in life and how that outcome will affect you? And can you live with that decision or decisions? Can you live with it? And if you can, then cool. Cool. Because see, one of the things that I've learned as I've gotten older is that when you're younger, you really don't tend to think about the decisions that you make or the things that you do. You just do it, My homegirl said, let's go over this party. We can go over this party and chill. My homeboys just go over here. There's some girls over here and we can get drunk and get out and go over here and do it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Have a good time, Nobody ever thinks about what could go wrong or do I know these people? I know when I was back home, I was young. There was a time where somebody that I knew met this chick, and come to find out, she was in a I guess a rival gang or whatever. And the thought was, at the time, somebody that we know recognized, hey, and that's so and so. She's affiliated with A, B, C, and D. So we like, oh, okay, wait a minute. So it was a rival gang, and the thought that crossed our minds was that, oh, she might have been trying to set him up. So he thinking he going over there to get some Netflix and chill or get some buns, and he could have been getting set up. Whether it was robbed or killed, who knows? But again, when you are young and you just full of emotion and full of passion, and hormones are raging, you don't think about these things. You don't think about, if I go over to someone's house, if I go to his party, if I go over here, will I be date raped or will I be raped or will I be killed? These are not things that you would think about, And as I'm older, now that I'm older, I find myself actually contemplating the decisions that I make, contemplating the decisions that I've made and how they have affected my life, because one wrong bad decision could cost you years of your life to undo or to fix, if you're lucky, Like one of the things that I think about now, as I'm older, is I talk to my wife and my son a lot about generational wealth. And when I say that, I'm not necessarily talking about having money or leaving money to my children, though, me and my wife own our own business, so we hope to. But one of the things that if I don't have an opportunity to leave them financial wealth, is I do intend on leaving my son a house. Me and my wife are about to buy our first house next year. And I've talked to her and I've talked to him. And let him know, one day when you are grown, 18, 20, 21, this will be your house. So that My son, when he's 18 years old, he already have a house. I'm 30 years old, and I'm just now about to get a house at 30 years old. So my son will be, if he gets the house at 18, 19 years old, he'll be 12, 13 years ahead of me in his life. Again, thinking about decisions that I want to make that can benefit my life and living with that outcome, which would be a blessing to my son, you know. And the third question, and really it's the last question, how can I begin to make better decisions? Well, for me, it was almost getting in trouble with the law and realizing that, hey, if I continue down this road, it's not gonna end too well for me. So it actually forced me to reconsider what I was doing with my life. And I was young. I was 18, 19 years old. You know, I was young, you know. But I'm glad that happened, because it forced me to begin at that age to make better decisions. It forced me, you know. Sometimes when you're faced in the mirror with the reality or the totality of a decision that you've made, and you realize, man, this could cost me 10 years, or this could cost me, 2 babies, or, or this could cost me losing my job because I took something I wasn't supposed to take, you know. When you're faced with those kind of consequences, or when you get to a point where you actually understand the totality of your decisions, you're like, man, how can I make better decisions? And for me, it started with just something that could have happened. But I pray for you. It just takes you just looking at your life, reevaluating your life. There's a scripture in the Bible that I love. It's the Apostle Paul. I believe it's in Corinthians. And Paul says, if you evaluate your life, if you judge yourselves, the Lord won't have to, you know. And I just feel like, for me, it took me having to evaluate my life. What am I doing? What did I do? If I continue to do this, where will it lead me? And once that was a picture that was painted before me, and that I saw, I said, you know what? I don't want that. I don't want that. You know, so anyone out there that's listening today, who has made, bad decisions, just forgive yourself. Continue to move forward and make better decisions. Reevaluate yourself. Judge yourself truthfully. Be honest. What part did I play in this? Because sometimes I feel like whenever we do make bad decisions and things go wrong, we as human beings, it's naturally we play the blame game. Well, you did that. Well, you told me to come there. Well, you told me to do this. Yeah, I told you to come, but I didn't put a gun to your head. Yeah, I told you to. Someone may have told you to do something, but they didn't put a gun to your head. They didn't force you to. You chose to do it willingly. So, again, about this love soundbite, please again leave comments on our podcast on Facebook about this love, on IG about this love, all one word, all lowercase, and feel free to follow us on our business pages. Twitter is MDMD _ LLC. On IG it's MDMD _ LLC. And on Facebook it's Multidimensional Media Domain LLC. And we'll have the links for you in the description below as well. So if you want to follow us, you definitely can. We look forward to hearing from you. We look forward to, hearing how the podcast has impacted you, and just hear your review. If you like it, if you don't like it, if you think it's stupid, if you think it's cool, whatever, give us some feedback, But I do want to leave you with this question right here. I want to leave you with. What are some of the decisions that you're making now that you need to change? What are some of the decisions that you're currently making in your life that you realize that you need to change. We would love to hear from you. If you would love to share, we would love to hear from you. If it's private and you don't want to share, that's cool. But we would love to hear from you. Again, my name is Dale Skinner. About This Love Soundbite. Peace. I'm out.
About this love. About this love. About this love. Love.